not cold-hearted.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Lauren, and today I'm going to be doing a video for you guys that I thought was pretty interesting to film that I've been wanting to do for a little while now, and that is 10 habits of 4.0 students. So I've done a lot of other videos in the past where I talk more about like note-taking and kind of like study tips and organization tips. So if you guys are interested in those types of videos that are more like in depth on those specific topics, I will have those carded over here for you guys. But today I'm going to be talking about 10 general tips that 4.0 students do. Some of these might seem kind of obvious, but they are really, really important, and I think if you take each one to heart, they definitely are really great tips to utilize. So I did a lot of research on this. I did base this off of like different study habits that I've seen from people and stuff like that. Also down below, if you guys want to leave some tips or tricks that you guys have to getting good grades or anything that you've learned, I love to start discussions in the comments down below. So anyways, without further ado, why don't we jump right on into the video. So tip number one that I think is the most important thing is to find a good study location. I think this is important because if you don't have that place that you like to go and that you find you focus the best at, it can be really difficult for you to get anything done. So personally for me, I enjoy going to places that are really, really quiet. I don't really like to listen to music that much when I study, which I know is kind of I feel like a varied opinion. Some people like to listen to music, but I like when it's completely silent. So I always like to go to the bottom floor of my library. I find that it's the most quiet. It is supposed to be the quiet floor, so I like to go there. And also I realize that I can't really study when I'm in my own house. Even if it's really quiet, I just have a lot of trouble studying there. So I think it's really important, again, to find that place. It could be like a coffee shop that you really like. It can just be your library. It could be maybe like a cool lounge or like place on your college campus that you think's really just a good place for you to study. So I think once you find this place that you like, it's definitely a really good start to getting. My second tip is self-discipline. So obviously self-discipline is such an important thing when you want to get a 4.0. So you have to really be very self-disciplined. It's not going to come easy. It doesn't come easy to most people. Obviously I would not get good grades if I didn't have self-discipline. I know that I really am one of those people who, if I want to get good grades, like that's just important to me, so I will do what I can to get good grades. So if that means staying in the library for a really long time, I'm gonna do that. So you have to really have that self-discipline and prioritize all your tasks. So you just have to have that self-discipline. That's just so important and just so crucial and vital to just like be able to sit yourself down and make yourself go to the library and make yourself do these things. Because if you don't get yourself to study, you're not gonna get good grades. Like a lot of people, you know, notes and information doesn't just come naturally to them. I know that I really have to work at it to get good grades. I don't have like, I'm not like a naturally super smart person where I can sit in a lecture and I just know everything. I know that I definitely have to, you know, sit down and really make myself memorize those notes. Again, I have a video all about how to take good notes and how to study. Like I said, I'll card over here. So with this discipline, you definitely have to prioritize your tasks when you're in the library or when you're in your study spot. You know, just make sure that you know exactly what you want to do. Have everything written down from first to last of what you need to get done for that day, and also just have everything organized. You want to know what you're doing this whole entire semester. So 4.0 students know when all of their exams are. They know when all their tests are. They know when all their homework is due. Usually what a lot of 4.0 students will do is they'll be very organized. They'll have all their syllabi in their folder. They'll usually have a planner or notebook that lists everything that they need to do till the end of the semester. So I think that's really important. I say a planner is the most important. So, you know, having that planner and writing everything down on that first day of school and having everything written down until the last day of school. A lot of 4.0 students don't just pull all-nighters and get stressed out and do things before. They're very, very good at prioritizing their tasks and having that discipline and knowing when everything is due and being organized. Number 3 is to attend all your classes. So this is one of those ones that sounds so obvious and you're probably like, Lauren, like I know I have to attend all my classes, but it can be really difficult sometimes when you are, you know, feeling kind of gross or you don't want to go to class. Obviously, if you're like throwing up or something or you're really, really, really extremely sick, I don't recommend you go to class, but you know, when you're fine and you just don't feel like going to class, go to class. You learn, there's so much information you're gonna miss if you don't go to class. Number 4 is go to office hours. I think this is so important. I know that a lot of students that get good grades, they go to their teacher's office hours because if they have any questions or they want them to maybe like review something or look over something, it's really important to go to office hours because sometimes during a lecture, it's hard to find your teacher or get your teacher's attention, and sometimes just an email won't do the trick. You need to actually see them in person. So almost all professors should have office office hours listed on their syllabus. So definitely utilize those office hours. That's really important. Or if you're having trouble with any of the curriculum, or even if you're not having trouble, you just want to go over information, maybe you have a project or a paper or something, I think it's really important to go to the office hours when you really need to. Number 5 is to review. So just keep looking over and reviewing your notes until you know the information. Again, it goes back to tip number 2 with self-discipline. You want to make sure you know the information as well as you can. So students who have really good grades, they look over their information and review their information until they actually know their information. So they go into a test or a quiz or anything feeling extremely confident. It's just really important that you review everything, even if it's like a paper, let's say, so an essay, you look over that paper multiple times, or you show someone else your paper and have them proofread it or something like that. Just reviewing over your work or your notes is really, really important. Number 6 is to do extra credits. Obviously not all classes offer extra credit, but if you do have a class that offers you extra credit, take advantage of that. It's really important to do that because it can help boost your grade in any way possible. Even if you do have a good grade in the class, it's really good to do any extra credit you can do, even if it seems like it can be a lot or the assignment's a lot. It's just really important because no matter what grade you have, it can boost you up even further. Number 7 is to sit in the front of the classroom and be very engaged in the class. So it's actually proven that people who sit in the front of the classroom compared to people who sit in the back of the classroom absorb more information and are more engaged in the class. I always try to sit more towards the front of the classroom when I am in classes. I know sometimes it can be hard and sometimes I do sit in the back, but I feel like it's really important, especially people who get good grades. They usually sit in the first row or two because usually you're just more in tune with the teacher, more in tune with the class. Be engaged in the class, ask questions, absorb the information. This is how you get the most out of your class. So if you want to get those good grades, it's really important to be as engaged in the class as you possibly can be. So that means sitting in the front and asking questions and just being in tune with the teacher. Number 8 is to utilize your school's resources. So a lot of schools, obviously, or almost every single school, should be offering different resources that you can use, such as writing centers, language centers, tutors, things like that. So I know that, for example, like a lot of people like to go to these writing centers and have their papers proofread. I know that I do that a lot, but a lot of people who get really good grades, they go to these centers or they use these tutors. I know a lot of people love writing centers because you can get your papers proofread. So it's really good to go to these centers and just utilize them. So maybe if you have any papers, always book a writing center appointment. Or maybe if you have to do foreign language and you have to speak a lot, maybe book an appointment for doing practice speaking with a person who's really good at your language that you're learning. Just different things like that. Or even if there's like a math tutor center, going there and being able to, if you have any questions, just so you're able to straighten out those answers and know everything down. Next tip I have is to divide your work up. So it's really important to divide your work up because you don't want to be overwhelmed with your work. So I know that a lot of people will pull all-nighters again, like I said before, or just stay up really late cramming and stuffing all their work into only one day. People who get good grades divide their work up and split it up. So if they have an exam, they take a couple of days to go over their notes, or 3 or 4 days, or a week before, whatever works for them, and they don't do all of their homework and all these things all on the same day. They just divide everything up for the week into smaller tasks so it's easier for them to handle. So this is really important to do, especially if you want to get those good grades, because you don't want to overwhelm yourself, because that's going to lead you to get not good grades because you're going to be so stressed out. Lastly, number 10 is to just aim high and have a goal. So just mentally, it's really good to have that goal of wanting to get an A in your class. Like some people just settle for, you know, B pluses or B's, and that's not really, you're not going to get an A if you're settling for something lower. If your goal is to graduate school with really good grades, that's really good, because if you have that goal set in your mind and you know that you want to get good grades, mentally you're going to be working harder towards that goal. So if your goal is to end college or end high school with like a certain GPA or a really good GPA, it doesn't have to be a 4.0, it could be whatever you want to set it to. Just have that goal in mind, because then you're going to be mentally more disciplined and you're going to be mentally more conscious of that goal, and you're going to want to do really good. So just remember to aim high and don't settle low, because you're not going to do well if you do settle low and you don't aim high. So anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions or video requests, leave those down below. And if you have any tips, leave those down below as well. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all in my next video. Bye.